excited to have a special guest with me today. This is Lauren from the Cheerful Baker is joining us today, and I can't wait for you to hear about what she's doing in the cookie world because she doesn't just make cookies, she does a whole lot of other things. And I want you to hear all about her experience and what she does for our community and what things that she offers because it's more than just your cookie crumbs, right? And so join me in welcoming Lauren to our channel today, and we're so excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for so much for inviting me. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. I love chatting with like other cookiers, and like a lot of us are in the kitchen, we're doing our craft, doing our thing, head down, and it gets lonely, right? It gets
It
really
does.
lonely. And so it's nice to just talk with other people who they know what you're going through, they know what it's like when you're decorating up late at night, decorating hundreds of cookies or whatever the case may be. It's just nice to have those people that understand you and just having a fun conversation about what it's like in the cookie world. And it's funny, I feel like everybody knows about cookies and about 3D printed cookies and all of these things. And then I talk to my friends who are not in the cookie world and they're like, what? Wait, 3D printed cookie cutters? And I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot not everybody knows about that. And so I'm excited to just jump in and talk about your experience and what you are doing. So, first, like, as we get started, like, what first drew you into decorating cookies and baking in the first place?
Well, my mom had me sitting on the counter from the time I could sit on a counter and not fall off, baking. I mean, we would bake, all kinds of things. Never decorated cookies, but I've always loved to bake. And I'm
Uh,
very artistic. So I was actually teaching painting classes when my kids were
wow.
little. My degree is in useless clothing and textiles, but so I worked in retail for a while, and then I retired to take care of my
Oh,
babies. And I was teaching painting classes, and I saw a friend of mine, this has been probably 12, 11 years ago, posted these really pretty cookies on Instagram. And I called her. She lives in a different state. And I'm like, how did you learn how to do that? Because I tried
oh,
one
wow.
time and I was not very successful. And so she told me that she took a class from the Flower Box Bakery, and she said,
Oh,
Lauren, you
wow.
should do it. She said, you're already painting. It's just like painting, but you can eat the paint. And I thought, well, okay, that sounds like fun. I'm up for that. So I
Like,
took one
I'm
class,
in.
and then I took another class, and I took another class. And like I run through life very fast. I'm always doing that. I never sit still. But for me,
Yeah,
I found it very calming. And it
yeah,
wasn't, I mean, I was painting paintings that were sold in a store. And although I loved doing that, that's intimidating because if you mess up, you're kind of stuck. But with a cookie,
yeah.
if you mess up a cookie, you just give it to your husband or you eat it
Right.
yourself. It's not the pressure, but it was still the creative outlet. So I was hooked from the very beginning.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're taking these classes, like, and were they virtual classes or did you
They
do any in
were.
person?
No, they were all
Awesome.
virtual because when I started, how long have you been decorating cookies?
Oh, well, since 20, well, for 16 years. So
Okay,
a long,
so yeah, so definitely when you started, and even when I started, there just weren't that many classes.
yeah, there wasn't. No.
There was nobody around me who taught in-person classes. So all
Yeah.
of them were virtual. And I loved that because I learned to make royal icing from Julia Usher. And
Oh,
I
wow.
would rewind and rewind because I thought this cannot be this hard. And so I
Yeah.
loved doing that, being able to watch it over and over and over. And one day it finally clicked. I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. So I'm a
Yeah.
fan of the online class because I like being able to rewind it and watch it again.
Absolutely. I learned, I, like you, saw cookies at a birthday party, and I was like, I am fascinated. I've been doing cakes, and
Oh,
Loved cakes and all, but I got nervous like when it was time to write on a cake, and this is before projectors and all of that. And I was like, wait, these cookies, like they're all different and they're all like just fun. And like you said, I loved it when you're like, well, if I mess up a cookie, like you just eat it. Like you just it's okay. And it's a lot more forgiving than buttercream. And I learned as well, I learned from Bake It 350 had a blog, and I had gone home and just started researching like decorated sugar cookies, like what's this royal icing? How do I make it? And just like you, like I was just mesmerized. I was just like, I have to do this. Like I have to
right,
try this and like because it just looks so fun. And I think I love the idea of the different themes and
right.
said, oh, I'm gonna make some pumpkin cookie cutters or pumpkin cookies. And well, like that's like right around Halloween. So like I've got to make some like Halloween cookies. And then there's Christmas. Like just all these like fun ideas that were just swirling around that, you just I say you get bitten by the cookie bug, right? You're
You
like,
do,
I want
yes, absolutely.
I want to do more. So when did it start from like, okay, this is a fun hobby and we're making these cookies and all to, hey, I want to like start selling cookies.
Well, it was a fluke. I never intended to sell cookies. I just thought that it was fun. And my oldest son has dyslexia, and that's a whole
Oh
nother
my God.
podcast episode, but he was really struggling. And
Mhm.
so I decided to take him out of school for a while and homeschool him. And then I put him back in a school that was a homeschool co-op. And
Okay.
this during that time is when I started decorating cookies. Well, I would take cookies into the school, and one of my friends said, "Would you make cookies for my mother's birthday? And I'll buy them from you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that sounds like fun." Well, it was a really small school, a really close-knit community, and so that's kind of how it started. People just would ask me, "Would you like to buy cookies? I mean, would you make me some cookies?" And so I started
Yeah.
making a few cookies. And then I started teaching art because I'm the kind of person I can look at anything and come up with an art project for it. And I had a college degree and I didn't have a teaching degree, but they knew that I could do it. And because it was a private school, I could do that. So,
Oh, that's
yeah. So when I started doing that, I thought, I can teach. I found out that I was a good teacher. I never would have thought that about myself, but so I thought I can use these skills that I'm learning and I could teach cookie decorating classes. I just thought that sounded like fun. I mean, I'm a people person, if you can't tell. So I just
yeah,
thought, oh, I'll invite people over. And, my first class was my mother, my mother-in-law, my neighbor. But that was so much
yeah,
fun. And so that's kind of how it started. It was a kind of a slow progression. And then my kids were
right.
getting older and I wanted to be home more, even though this was just a little part-time job and it was at the school where
Yeah,
they both went. I wanted to be home. I wanted to be home when they got home from school because I wanted to give them a snack and hear about their day. And so I
yeah,
made the decision. I thought, once I can replace my income, which was really just fun money, for me. I mean, I'm very fortunate. My husband has a great job and he's like, you can stay home. You can do whatever you want. He's really supportive. I wanted to have my own little stash. So I thought
right.
once I can make the same amount of money doing my classes and making cookies that I'm making in the school, I'm going to quit. And that's exactly what happened. And I
Yeah,
decided to once again retire and just make cookies, and that was the best decision because like what I said, I wanted to just be home when my kids got home from school with a snack to hear about their day, and that's exactly how it went.
yeah. So you started this side hustle and you started doing it. Well, it probably wasn't like full time, but like it probably felt
Oh,
like full, sometimes I'm sure. But what were some of like the biggest challenges that you faced with that?
Um, for me, it was balance between my life and cookies because I just loved decorating cookies. And
Mhm.
so I definitely did not, I mean, I would spend all my time with my family, with my husband and my kids, or decorating cookies. A lot of other things fell by the wayside, like, cleaning my house and going to the
Right.
grocery store and all these other
A
things
lot.
because I was doing the fun things.
Right,
So,
right, right.
without a doubt, time management, learning to say no, because I
Yeah,
am a people pleaser. And when someone would call and say, I forgot to order cookies for my son's birthday, which happens a lot, especially when you have little kids because you're just
yeah.
overwhelmed. And they would say,
Mhm.
"It's in 3 days." I would say yes because I just wanted to help them, and I did that a lot in the beginning, which was good
Yeah.
because I got a lot of experience, but I was very stretched. My time
Mhm.
I would get up way early in the morning. I was kinda tired during that phase. Not being able to
Yeah.
say no, that's a hard thing when you first start.
Yeah, and it's hard when you have, like, little kids around you and I always say, like, you're working in these, like, fringe hours of
Right,
you're working in between, like, preschool pickup and, like, when they're getting home from school, so you've got that, like, homework time, and you're, like, trying to get as much done as you can while they're at school, so you have, like, maybe a couple hours. It's never as much as you think it's going to be, but you
right.
have that time like, okay, well, now I've got to switch into mom mode. And I always said that the hardest part of the day was when they got home or when I had to make dinner, right? When they got home, like I'm still decorating in the kitchen with them. They're having their snack on the other side of the island and stuff, and we're doing homework and all. But then when it came time to like, okay, like I've got to come to a stopping point and I've got to start making dinner. So I've got to get all of these cookies somewhere and start, making dinner and figuring out what we're gonna eat and start boiling noodles or whatever, and so,
Yes.
and like they go to bed and you're like, "Okay, well, now I can get back to doing what I was doing." So you're working in these, like, little pockets of time, and it can be challenging. It can be really, really challenging, and I always say that, you think, like, when your kids are gonna when they start school full time, you're like, "I'm gonna have all of this time, and I just can't wait until they get into school full time." And then somehow they get there and you're like, where did the time go?
Right.
Like just before you know it, you're like, it's already time for them to get home on the bus. Like, what in the heck? Like, what happened here? So
Yeah, it's
it
it's
is definitely that balance.
what you just said, I hadn't thought about this for a long time, but you're so right. When you make cookies and it's a mess, because 'cause I'm messy, and then you have to clean it up to make dinner, and you're like, "How am I
No.
gonna do this?" Because 'Cause you're not done and you have to get it back out again. The crock pot was my friend because I would put food in
Oh
the crock pot in the morning, and that didn't
yeah.
quite create the mess, but that is tricky when you're making cookies
It's
in your
hard.
own kitchen.
And I would listen to other, like, business coaches and stuff, I remember at the time, and they're like, "You need to have, like, a certain place in your house is where you do your business and you're setting." So they're talking to, like, business owners that are doing, like, side hustles, like creative crafters and things like that, and they're like, "You need to have a separate place in your house where your office is and where you set up." And I'm like, "How do I do like, my kitchen is the office, like, how do I do
Right,
that?" Like, this is the heart of the home, as they always said. I'm like, how do and I, struggle with that so much of like, "Well, how do I do this?" Because like we're doing homework, we're doing meals, I've got to make lunches. Like
right.
it was hard. It was definitely hard of like just juggling that. And I do try and tell people a lot of times of just like having that space in your kitchen. Obviously we were working in our kitchen. Not everyone has like a cookie room or anything like that that they can devote to it. But even if you have just like that space on your island, that space in the corner where your mixer is, where your flour and your ingredients are, to kind of claim that space as this is my decorating space. Like, and my
Right,
kids kind of like if cookies were there, don't be reaching up and getting anything like above that cabinet or anything because we don't want to risk anything falling on the cookies. And so that's always, I think a lot of people have those same struggles of
yeah,
man, how do you balance it all, right?
right. The best thing I ever did, I
Oh,
mean, ever, when I was making cookies was my husband loves finding things on Facebook Marketplace, and he found a, Subway that was going out of business, and they were selling
Yeah.
one of their bread racks, the really
Oh,
nice metal ones with all the trays. So he got that for me, and that was the greatest thing because it was fully enclosed, so I could
wow.
put the cookies in there and nobody could get to them. And I painted it the same color as the walls in my dining room. So, I mean, it's still ugly, but it didn't quite show up as much. That's the best because I used
Yeah.
to keep them in my oven, and I one too many times turned on the oven because I forgot. So that was a great investment.
Yeah, you find like little tricks and things along the way that work that actually like, oh wow, that really worked by doing that. That's
Right.
great. Well, I want you to tell us a little bit about the Cheerful Box, and that is what you are known for and what you have as the Cheerful Baker. Would love for you to just tell us how did that idea come about and how that's really like evolved over time. I'd love to
Sure.
hear about that.
Yeah, so when I was contacted to be on the Food Network Christmas Cookie Challenge, which was is still a crazy thing to me, um, I thought, and when I found out I was going to be on the show, I thought, wow, this is an amazing opportunity for
Like, we
me
need
to
to back
do.
up. Like, how did you even get on the show? How did that come about?
They
Like,
somebody
did you like
contacted
reach
me.
out to them or
No. I mean, I am the mom who baked cookies in my kitchen in this town in Kentucky that literally is about this big.
oh my
So
goodness.
I would have never reached out. I would not have thought I had a chance at all to do that. And so they actually reached out to me through Instagram and
Oh
said,
wow.
we would love to talk to you about the Christmas cookie challenge on the Food Network. Would you be interested? And I mean, I immediately went to look at that person's profile, and there was nothing about the Food Network. And I thought, sure, I'll play along. I said,
Cool.
sure, let's talk. Let's talk. Why don't you call me tomorrow? So I said, I have a doctor's appointment. I'll be done at 1. So she calls and she's like, how was your doctor's appointment? And I said, oh, it was the gynecologist. You know how that is. Now, Summer, if I had thought this was a real thing, I certainly wouldn't have said that. But she laughed, and it was about 30 minutes till I got home. And so we talked and we chatted, and she said, have you ever watched the Food Network and thought I should be, the Christmas cookie challenge, and thought I should be on that show? And I said, no. I said, I have never done that. I said, not that I don't think I could, but really, I've never done that. Well, she laughed again. And by the time I got home, she said, I'm going to send your name to the producer. And I'm like, okay. And within about an hour, I had a very professional email from them. I mean, I couldn't believe it. But I think
Oh
because
my
I
gosh.
was fun and laughing, we had a good
Yeah.
time. So I did several interviews, and then they were like, we're going to let you on the show. And you can't tell anybody, which is for me, that was the hardest thing of
Oh my
the whole thing.
goodness. Oh wow. You're like, how am I gonna keep this a secret? And
I
it's
know.
done months in advance, right? Like when
Oh yeah, they contacted me originally in November, and then they told
wow.
me, I think it was March.
Oh
Now,
my goodness.
luckily, I said, they I told him that my husband worked from home, and I said there's no way I can keep this from him. It's impossible. Whenever you all call, he's going to be here. So he signed a non-disclosure agreement too. So that was good that I was able at least to talk to him about it. But so
Yeah. Oh man.
whenever they contacted me, I was just making cookies, and I was making cookie cutters just for fun, just for myself. Because my husband is very techie and he wanted a 3D printer. And that's how that
Oh,
started. And
okay.
so I thought, okay, I'll learn how to make cookie cutters. And so I was thinking, I'm going to be in front of, literally, I don't, millions, I guess, of people who watch this show. My
Absolutely.
children are going to college soon. Maybe I could have this help my business. And I
Oh
didn't want
wow.
to make cookies because I didn't want to, ship cookies all over because I'm sure you've shipped cookies. It's not fun. It's a lot of work with all
So
the
stressful
packaging.
too.
Yeah, because of all
Yeah,
the
so
packaging, you're
stressful.
afraid they're going to break. And And
Mhm. Are
so
they good through time? Like, no thanks.
yes. So I had a really good friend who had a subscription box and it was home
Okay.
decor. So I knew from being around her sort of what it was. And I started thinking about all the things that I have learned, because I was 53, I guess, when I started, maybe 54. I started thinking about all the things that I had learned over all my years of the different jobs that I've had. And I thought, okay, I know how to teach classes. I love teaching
Mhm.
classes. I know how to make cookie cutters. I know how to decorate cookies. And I'm
Right.
very, I mean, I think I'm pretty business savvy. Like I knew how to create a website and, the basics.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
put this together, I might be able to send out a box that would teach people how to decorate the cookie cutters in the box. And for
That's awesome.
me, and I'm, like I've said, very artistic. One of the hardest things for me when I started was designing a cookie set. I mean,
Yeah.
someone would have a baby shower and they would give me the invitation and they would say, "You can do whatever you want." And that was paralyzing because
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
know enough. I didn't know how to create enough designs.
Mhm.
I just didn't know how to put together a cohesive set.
Right,
So,
right.
cookies have really, I don't even know how to describe what cookies have done for me in my life. I mean, not only financially, but they just got me through a really, really tough time when my son was struggling. It gave me something happy to focus on. So I thought
Yes.
maybe I could do that for somebody else. Maybe I could help other people learn how to decorate cookies and take away the difficulty by giving them the cohesive set and giving them the class. And so
Oh,
I had a lunch. Like I probably thought of this idea maybe on a Friday. And I called my
yeah.
friend and I said, let's have lunch. So Monday we go to lunch and I said, I'm going to start a subscription box. She's like, okay,
Just
okay.
like me.
I'll give you, I have a little pamphlet from Sarah Williams, the subscription box.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. So I came home and I read through it and I thought, I can do that. I'm going to do it. So within a week, maybe not even that long, I had decided what I was going to do. I had ordered these boxes. I made a little terrible website. I had already been collecting emails, which I didn't even realize I had been doing that. I'll be honest. I'd set it up when I first started, and I had, a couple hundred people in there. So I called Christy and I said, I'm going to launch my box tomorrow. She's like, tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Like, why
Shoot.
not?
I'm
Like a
like,
good
no, I'm going
day.
to do it. So that's what I did. And so I put it out there. I think I sent it to my email list and I got and then I went on Cookie-a-thon and I
Okay.
got 18
Yeah.
subscribers and I thought, "Oh my gosh, 18 people want to do this with me? This is amazing." And then, the next month I got 30 something and it just kept growing. And the most
That's
amazing thing about this story is when I started, my oldest son was getting ready to go to college. So
mhm.
and then I have a younger one too. They're 3.5 years
Okay.
apart. So he was in high school. So I thought, I'm going to try to pay for Caleb's college tuition because that'll take the stress off
Wow.
of my husband. And that to me would just be the ultimate because I cannot express to you how much I love being a mom. I mean, to me, that is the ultimate, the best thing I've ever done in my life. So I thought if I could
Mm.
alleviate the stress of them having college debt, that would be such a gift. Um, so
Yeah.
the first tuition payment that I had to make was almost exactly, I mean, within like $20 of what I made selling the subscription boxes. Doesn't that
Oh
just
my
give you
gosh, that gives me chills.
it does, and I just thought, what a gift. So,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
stopped, I'll make cookies every now and again if I think it's something fun.
Yeah. Oh my
But,
goodness.
I don't teach classes anymore. I saw, local classes, I was doing that too, and I do the subscription box, and just like you, isn't it so rewarding when you teach somebody something
Absolutely.
that improves their
Yes.
life? And we both do
Yeah.
that. And so
Yeah. It's
I love this.
Yeah. When you see they come in and they're like, "Oh, my cookies are not going to look like that." And you say, "They will. Just wait." Like with the right instructions, with the right step by step, I'm going to take your hand. I'm going to walk you through this. And I always say to my students like, it's amazing to see that first cookie that they do and then that last cookie and to see them so excited about it. Somebody once told me that their first cookie, they call it the car cookie. And I said, the car cookie, they told me this is a cookie con. I can't remember who it was, but they're like, yeah, that's the cookie that you eat in the car on the way home from the class.
Yeah.
I love that. But when they're able, that student's able to see that progression of how they're able to make that cookie and how they've improved, it's just like, oh, this is so fun. And it's just such a rewarding thing. I always said that when I was selling cookies, that Friday was my favorite day of the week because that's when all the hard work is done right. They're picking up their cookies and they're so excited, like, oh, these are so pretty. And then they go home and you go home and collapse. But when you're
Yeah.
teaching a class, being able to see them to walk them through it for 2 hours and to be able to see the results that they're getting and for them to be excited and proud of this new skill that you're able to teach them, you're like, oh, this is the best. I love this. This is what I
It
was meant to do.
is.
It's great. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, that is so amazing. And I love that you came up with this box. And so you have this box every month. So how are you designing like new cookie cutters and class themes? Like what is that? Take us through that process of what that looks like.
I do it in January. I do it every January because what
You
else are
do
we
it
gonna
like
do in
all of it,
January?
like you just batch it all.
I do.
Oh my
Now, sometimes I'll
gosh.
change my mind. I'll think, oh, I'm going to do this set in July, and then July comes, and I'm like, I don't think that is much fun anymore. But I do it by I'm in this wonderful group of women who really watch trends. So I try
Oh,
and
that's
take that into consideration, but I also do it based on the holiday. I mean, that's what it mainly is, except for the summer. And so yeah, I try and have one challenge cookie, one that's a little tricky that they'll feel really proud when they finish. And then
yes,
one that's a really easy, simple cookie because even easy, simple cookies are cute cookies. And then I always have
absolutely.
one that and a stencil and a cookie cutter go together because again, stenciled cookies are usually a little bit quicker. And then the other two are just, kind of middle of the road. And so that's how I do it. I first actually pick the colors. That's what I do
Okay.
first.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and I
I
think
love
because
this.
I'm artsy, so I'll look
Yeah.
at, for Valentine's Day, I'll scroll through Pinterest and online and
Yeah.
and Instagram and I'll find a color palette that I love. And that's what
Oh, okay.
that's what I do first. And then
That's so interesting.
yeah. And then sometimes I'll hire an artist to create. Like I can draw, but I can't draw that well. And so I'll hire someone to create the clip art for me
Okay.
or buy clip art that already has the license and I'll combine different clip arts, from different sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's how I do it. But if I didn't plan it in January, I wouldn't get it done because it just
Yeah.
it gets busy. So
Yes. So when do you, because you have the video that comes with each of the box. So what do they get in the box?
So we have three different tiers, and I'll just tell you what the basic one is, because
Yeah.
otherwise it just gets confusing. But we have one, it's called the Cheerful Box, and we put in six large cookie cutters, which are about 3.5 inches, a stencil
Okay.
that coordinates with one of the cookie cutters, a mini cookie, um,
Okay.
and then they get a download of
Okay.
an invitation that goes with it. And so I'll give
Nice.
you an example of that here in just a second. And then we do a gift tag. I do create a gift tag that
Cute.
goes with the cookies because, packaging is a big deal if you have cute cookies. And then they
Yep.
have
Yeah.
access to a subscriber hub, which has tons of tutorials, royal icing transfers, all kinds of things. I give them
Nice.
a supply list and the color palette. So what
Okay.
I and a recipe because I want them to be able to open this box and have success and have fun. But the
Sure.
invitation, like last month for Halloween, have you heard of the You've Been Booed?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I created all the printables for those, and so
Oh,
they got the
cute.
"You've Been Booed" so that they could and what that is, if anyone doesn't know, you give a gift to someone with a little cute gift tag that we made, and then you give them a sign that says, "You've been booed," and then directions where they can boost somebody else. And so it just creates fun within your neighborhood. So we included all that because I want them to go out, not just make the cookies, but go out and make somebody happy with them. And then for
Yeah,
Thanksgiving,
absolutely.
the Thanksgiving box, I included the cutest turkey gift tag and then an
Oh, cute.
invitation to a friend's giving that is fully customizable. So they can offer that to their customers for free. I don't want them to sell it, but they can give it for free, or they can use that and they have a reason to use the cookies that they've made. So
Yeah, I
we have
love
another
that.
we have another tier that is only the mini cookies because mini cookie cutters, and then a third one that's the minis and the regulars together.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. That's so fun. I love that. And I love like the tags and all that it's not just, oh, you're going to decorate these cookies because they're going to like, okay, I'm going to decorate them. Then what am I going to do with them?
Right.
What the
And that,
make like a lot of cookies are like, what do I do with it? So you like totally
yeah,
solved that problem. Like,
yes,
here's
make
an idea.
people happy. And that came from my husband because my husband is always asking me, "Do you have cookies I can give to such and usually it's the delivery people? You know,
Yeah.
the Amazon guy's coming up. Do you have any cookies I can give to the Amazon guy?" And so he's really the one who had me thinking, my goal is for them to make the cookies, but if you don't have a
Yeah.
reason to make the cookies, it's
Right.
easy to just say, "I'll do that later." So
Yeah.
hopefully they're out spreading a little happiness with the cookies
Absolutely. 'Cause
they
you want
make.
them you don't want that box to just sit in the corner. You want them to be excited about it and be like, oh my gosh, I've got to go boo my neighbors, or I'm hosting a Thanksgiving. Like, this is perfect. I'm gonna make these as like a hostess gift, or,
Right,
having your family over. That's perfect. I love that so much because it just, I always tell my students too, like of not just showing that cookie, but like how are they using that cookie as a gift. As a stocking stuffer, as something that they are giving, so that you're showing that to them and they're
yeah,
going to be able to use it. And I'm just too practical to just be like, you can't let that cookie go to waste. Like, you got to
right,
do something with it, do something fun.
right, that's right, yeah.
Absolutely. So running this like creative business and teaching and designing, I love that so much. Like, I know that takes like a lot of creativity, obviously. So what is something that you do to kind of combat that burnout of, I mean, it probably helps that you batch your content at the beginning of the year. That probably helps a lot. So you're not doing that. But is there anything else that you do just to kind of help balance that?
I love to be outdoors. I'm a big
Mhm.
gardener. I have a garden. I love mowing the lawn, believe it or not, is one of my favorite things to do. I love it. gotta mow the
goodness.
lawn. I have chickens summer, which is
Oh
fun.
my
I
gosh, I
go out
saw
and
that you
talk to my chickens, but I love being outside. But, one thing that I have, allowed myself to do is to not do all the things that you're supposed to do. For instance, I'm supposed to post on Instagram 3 times a day. I'm not gonna do that. I did that for a while, but it just,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna allow my business to suck every single second of my time. And I think that
yeah,
that's come with age,
sure.
really, to allow yourself to do that. Um, so there's things that I could do, I'm sure, to make my business better, but I want to have a life, and
Absolutely.
so yeah, I hired a personal trainer because I'm gonna be in
Nice.
shape. I
Yes,
had
that's great.
mono. I had mono a couple months. I was sick for 2 months. I've been well for about 2 weeks, and it made me realize I don't wanna be a sick old person. So, I
No,
hired a personal trainer because otherwise I'm not gonna do it. So, that's been a good outlet too, but it's mainly being outside.
I love that. I love they say like outside sunshine and touching grass, so important and just so good. And as we get older, I realize that your health, not to take it for granted.
Right.
And just like you said, to be able to live life and to have things outside of your business. You don't want it to run your life. You want to be running the business, not for it to be running your life. And while we love cookies and they are fantastic, but there's definitely other things in life that can make us happy. I love that so much.
Right. Yeah.
That's great. So what would you say, like, as you pivoted from making cookies, teaching classes, now doing your box, what were some of the toughest lessons that you had along the way?
To not try and do everything myself. I am
Yeah.
very, I don't wanna ask you for help. I mean, that's just how I'm very independent. I've been independent since I was a baby, and I tried to do everything by myself, and it gets exhausting. And
Yeah.
so, the first time I hired somebody to help me was hard because I
Yeah.
thought, that's money. That's money that could be going to my kids, their education. But I
Yeah.
needed help, and it was incredible. I mean, I hired this little girl who lived down the street who was a doll. She was in high school, and she would come and she would help me pack the boxes, and we would have the best conversations. And just,
Yeah.
that was the greatest thing. And then, I did my own website and I got to the point where I didn't know how to do anything else. And I hired someone and it was just so freeing. So I think
Yeah.
just not doing every single thing yourself as a small business owner is a hard thing to not
Yeah.
do, but important. It improved
Yeah.
my business when I hired someone else, and it
Yeah.
improved my life, quite honestly. And sometimes I'll hire someone to clean my house. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with my business because I would rather, do something fun. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Do you know what your Enneagram number is?
Oh,
Do you know anything about
I
the
don't
Enneagram?
remember. I did that a long time ago. I bet you and I have the same number. What's yours?
It is. I'm a 7, and I always like, in the 7 is like they don't do anything that's not fun. Like, everything in life has to be fun. And
That's
when you
me.
said that, that's what it made me think of, and I was like, "I bet she's a 7 as well, because
I think
I'm
I
very
am. Like, when
spontaneous.
you asked me that, that's the number that came to mind, but it's been a long time ago that I did that. But yeah, that's totally me. Everything in life should be fun.
Absolutely, and I'm very spontaneous. Like, my mom says I'm like whiplash, and I'm like you said, I decide something on Friday, and by Monday, I've already written out the plan, and I honestly have wanted it to be done, like, the day before and be like, "No, I'm expecting it to be done, like, already. Like, what are we
Exactly.
waiting
Exactly. That's exactly
for?"
me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's probably totally you. Oh, I wanted to ask if there was any, like you're creating that balance, we're doing other things. Is there anything like in your community that you try and do to like give back or helping others that are starting out? Obviously, like your box, is for that person who might just be starting decorating and all. And I love, like you said, with the gift tag. So that's giving to them as well. Is there anything else that just really speaks to you or just really lights you up
Yes,
about
I used to go live a lot on Facebook, and I need to get back to doing that. I stopped in the spring because I just was overwhelmed, busy. And then I
mm,
got sick, and so I could hardly talk. But I would do a lot of free tutorials about you name it,
awesome.
and I loved doing that. And so I'm going to get back to doing that. I have a blog on my website that has all kinds of information for
That's great.
new cookie decorators and seasoned cookie decorators too. I mean, how to freeze cookies, how to box cookies, tons
Yeah,
of blogs on there that I encourage people to go and read because I
absolutely.
think it's great information, but it's things that I went through. You know, I was a
Yeah,
new cookie decorator
yeah,
not that long ago, it seems like. I mean, it was 10 years ago, but it seems just like
yeah.
yesterday. So, and
I
you
know.
too, we understand what it's like because we were that person.
Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of resources. I mean, 10 years ago, there was not a lot of resources out there for cookiers and for just different tutorials. And, it was before Instagram stories and things like that. And so a lot of it, I say, is learning and trial and error. And like you
Right.
learn, hey, this worked really, really well this time, and this worked well, this last time. And I always say like I want to share things with people that I wish somebody would have shared with me when I first started. Or,
Yes.
if you've got a hack for something, or you're like, hey, how can I get these results faster? Absolutely. Like I want to share it with them and say, hey, listen, this might be the long way to do it, but I found a shortcut that
Right.
saves you a lot. I do
Yes.
that like with icing. I do the dump method because I'm like, I don't have time to do this like mixing with your frothing mixture. Like I saw somebody once a long time ago, like probably like when I first started a long time ago, that they just dumped all of their dry ingredients in and then they added their water and then a little bit of vanilla. And I was like, now that's the way to do it. Like, can I
That's
get the
exactly
same
how I do it.
result?
That's exactly how I do it.
And I
I
was
know you
like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I used to make, the icing where you make 2 different types of icing and you mix it
Oh my
together,
gosh,
and
yeah,
that's great icing. A lot of people do that, but I thought, "I don't have time for that. I'm quick.
no.
I go through life quick. Like you, I dump it all in there, I put in the water, I turn the mixer on, voila, we're done."
Listen, we get the same results. And I'm like,
Right.
it still tastes great. It works great. Like I can still work with it great. It does this, it colors the same way. Like,
Yeah.
listen, like I don't have time for all that other stuff.
Right, right, yeah.
Oh gosh. I used to say that like I mean even with my cookies like my recipe is just like no frills, like this is how it is. I'm not like I love baking and all, but I'm not like a food scientist or anything. So like you'll never see me like releasing like tons of recipes or anything. I have like 4 recipes that I've done, but like I'm not one of those that's like, oh, this is exactly how we're going to do this and this is a science. Always feel like I kind of break the rules. Like I don't soften my butter. I don't measure like, how you're supposed to like measure your flour with a spoon. No,
Uh-huh.
I just scoop it right out of it. It's just not, I'm like, if there are people that are like professionally trained and like pastry chefs, they probably hate me. And of like, but here's the thing, I get the results the same every time. And so
Right,
I know they say it's a science, but I don't have time to figure it out the right way. Like, hey, this works. I get the results I want it. So, if I can share that with other people that are like me too, that are like, hey, I need to get this quick answer. I need to get these results. I'm
right.
your person. Sounds like you are
Yeah,
too.
good.
I love that.
Right. We
Man,
gotta get to the
well,
fun part, which is the decorating.
absolutely, absolutely. Like the cookie part, like that's boring, cutting out cookies. Like let's get to the fun part of coloring icing and decorating, putting those fun elements on there. I love that
Right.
so much. Well, what is next for the Cheerful Baker as you're looking down, like we're getting ready to end the year or start a new year? Like, what is something that you have on a 5-year plan or a 1-year plan? Would love to know, like, what is next for you?
You know, it's so funny. I read your question ahead of time that you sent me, and I thought the 5-year plan is for me to be officially retired because I'll be
Yeah,
63 years old, and that is hard to believe when I just utter those words. But
I
my
believe that.
my goal is to get my children through college.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna say, your youngest is in college now, right?
yes,
Is
he's
your
a
youngest?
sophomore. Yeah, so
Okay.
if I can get them through college debt free, that's the goal. Now, will I
Yeah,
continue to do this after that? I don't know. I wake up today and think, oh, today's great. Let's see what we can do today. I love the subscription box. I mean, I love doing that. So I think in 5 years, quite honestly, I'll probably be doing what I'm doing now because I have a wonderful life. I mean, I'm very blessed. I have a wonderful business that I hope helps lots of people. I have lots of free time. My kids are close. My husband works in the same house that I do. So,
yeah,
really in 5
awesome.
years I hope life is pretty much the same. One of my
Yeah.
goals was to be a core instructor at CookieCon, and I
Yeah.
am next CookieCon.
Yay!
And
That's
that
so
was really
exciting.
that was one of my big goals. Maybe in 5 years, I would like to be like the headline speaker at CookieCon. We'll throw that
Yeah.
out there. But
We're going to put that
than
out there for sure. Love
other than that, life is good. I hope I'm just continuing to do what I do now.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to see you in Orlando as a core instructor. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that. And I know that that's something that you have wanted and worked towards. So it's well deserved. And
Thank
that's going to
you.
be so fun. It's just going to be fun. Like,
It is
as
gonna be
far as
fun. It's
fun
hard to
goes.
believe. I mean, that's what I mean. I think, I just picked up an icing bag because I thought that it would be fun. And look at all the
Yeah.
incredible things that I've been able to do because I decided to decorate a cookie.
Yes, and I think, we probably I was gonna ask you, like, what is somebody if somebody who is starting something creative or started decorating, like, what would you tell them to do? I mean, well, I'll let you answer it.
Learn, take
Yeah,
classes. I mean,
yeah,
well, I'm a lifelong learner, and you probably are too, aren't you? A lifelong learner. And I think
absolutely.
that that's the key to success. I really do. It's not being
Yeah,
afraid to learn something from someone else. I'm not an
yeah,
expert in anything, but there are a lot of experts out there. And what
yeah,
I have learned from other people have has been what has propelled me forward. So, take the
love that.
classes on cookie decorating, take the classes on royal icing, take the business classes,
Yeah,
learn everything that
yeah,
you can possibly learn, and then just have fun. I mean, make the
yeah,
cookies and give them away. I gave away so many cookies, and that is fun because you're making somebody so happy when you do that. So
absolutely. You know
what
what
would you say?
Oh, I would say the same thing. It's just to go for it, to try it. I'm the type that like I'll try anything one time, unless it's like eating something gross or heights.
Yeah.
I'll try anything, and especially if I think it might be fun. And so, life is too short to just be like, oh, I wish I would have tried that, or I wish. Actually, my neighbor today just texted me this morning. She's turning 50 in next year, and she's like, she wrote a list of like 50 things that she wants to do, and she said one of those is to learn how to decorate cookies. And she's like, will you
Oh,
come teach me? And I'm like, well, absolutely, I will. Like that would be super fun. And so, you
yeah.
know it's just like going for it of not having any regrets and just life is so too short to think, oh, I'm not creative enough. Like I am not a creative person, I'm not an artistic person, and I never in a million years would have guessed that I would be sitting where I am, just like you said, from picking up a piping bag and from
Right.
sitting down at a Michael's craft store cake decorating class. Like, would have never guessed that. And,
Right.
it's just, you never know like what path life is going to take you, and just to let it take you and just say, you know what?
Right.
Like, if you're like looking at that cookie class that you saw pop up in your Facebook, or if you dabbled in some Christmas cookies with your family and you're like, that was really fun. I think I might want to do more of that. Then do it. Like, go for
Yes.
it because it's
You and I are a lot
fun.
alike. I can tell we are a lot alike.
You know what I've seen lately is I've been on TikTok some, and I've seen this gal that makes the decorated cookie, like the not decorated cookies, the cookie cakes, and
Yeah.
she's doing, so they're like chocolate chip cookies, and I'm like, I want to do that just because, like, one, I love chocolate chip cookies, but I'm like, maybe I'll make some for Halloween and just like send them to my kids' school or something. And
Fun.
I'm like, I have like no time for that, but I'm like, it just looks like it would be fun. And I'm like, we could just pick a fun little color scheme. And I feel like it would be less stressful than decorating a cookie because you're just doing like swirls and stuff here and there. And,
Yes.
cookie, you're like, oh, well, like it's already done. I just have to like make some swirls around here.
That sounds see, that's
But
exactly what I
it's,
would do. I see things on,
yeah.
any artistic thing on social media, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna try that. I think I'll try that." That's what I'm gonna be doing in 5 years when I'm retired. I'm gonna be doing all these artistic things that I've seen
Yeah,
on
I'm gonna
social media.
play the piano and taking all the crafts. Like, I love it. That's so, so fun. I just taught my daughter last week or a few weeks ago how to cross stitch.
Fun.
And I love like cross stitch and stuff. And so again, like you said, I'm not really good at a lot of things, but that's one of the things that like I just love it. Like it's just, and I told her, I said, this is like I told her it was like therapy, and she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, it's just calming. Like you can
Right.
do it like counting your stitches or whatever. And cookies are the same way, right? It's just
Yes.
it's so calming just to outline and flood that cookie. It's so, so fun.
It is.
All right, so as we wrap up, I have just like some fun questions, of course, because that's just fun. But what would you say is like your comfort cookie? Maybe it's something that you bake or something that you love to like bake and share with other people. Besides cookies, obviously we know cookies are probably like number one, but do you have something that's like your specialty, your um, thing that you love to make?
It's not a cookie, but I love to make crème brûlée. I love
Oh
crème brûlée. Oh, I love to eat crème brûlée. And recently, I was involved in this really cool magazine shoot, and
yeah.
it was so fun. I was in charge of the dessert, and I had just made cookies for something else, and I thought, I just want to make something different. So I bought little pumpkins and I hollowed out the pumpkins and I made pumpkin crème brûlée in pumpkins. I could eat crème brûlée for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So
That is so fun. Oh, wow, that's really neat. I've never heard somebody say like that that's what they make, that that's what they enjoy. Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
so neat. That's awesome. This has been so, so fun. And I love chatting with you, Lauren. It was so, so great just to hear about your business and what things are out there and how you're just serving our community. And I love it so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I've loved talking to you too. We need to talk more often.
We do. We do. It was like therapy for me. Like, this is super, super fun. So, well, thank you so much. Tell us where everybody can find you.
Cheerfulbaker.com is my website. Instagram, I can never remember. I think it's the Cheerful Baker on
Yeah.
Instagram and Cheerful Baker on Facebook. I could be mixing them
Okay.
up. So if you go there and you don't see me, take out the or add the. But
Okay.
anyway, it's cheerfulbaker.com.
Lauren Jacob, the
Yes.
Cheerful Baker. Awesome. Well, you guys go check her out and find her, and be following along for more amazing things. I love seeing your creations of what your boxes are and all of that. And so it's so fun and just inspiring. And so thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, we can't wait to see you guys next time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.